this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Get It Right, Texoma, with the Texoma Trio, Mike Hendren, Terry McAdams, Trey Serrala, coming to you not live, but recorded from the MacTech Solutions Podcast Studios here in Wichita Falls, Texas. How is everybody?
By the way, just a little peek behind the curtain, we what's called gang record some of these.
Yes.
Because we didn't wear, these are going to be doing on different weeks. We're not wearing the same clothes every week.
Well, nobody will notice unless they're binge watching it.
Yeah, well, no, they're going to be in order. We're going to have three in order with us in the same clothes, and they're going to be 2 different weeks.
So right. I'm just going to.
So, but like I said, people won't notice.
For a change in effect, I'm going to button
Let me turn this around like a priest, the preacher or something.
There we go. Okay, all right. No, we do own other clothes. Yeah, we do. We record several of these at a time. Because we just don't want to be around each other anymore, and we have to be, or something like that. Anyway,
it's efficiency.
No, it is efficiency. It is. It really is. I guess it is pretty efficient to do. Multiples.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's called gang recordings. That's what they do on TV shows.
Yes.
Like the Wheel of Fortune, for instance. They don't do one a day and then no day. That would be ridiculous. You'd have different audio. I mean, it'd take you forever. Right. So they'll record several of those shows in a day.
Right, because you're in there already. You've already
might as well knock it out.
Everybody's already spent setting it up.
Well, back when they used to do that with Family Feud, when Richard Dawson was there, I mean, how often did they have to moisturize his lips? Because he's kissing every chick. Every episode,
Well, I guess he probably didn't disinfect them.
No, he
was probably immune to everything on all the people he kissed.
He's just going from one chick to the next.
He was like Typhoid Mary. He was the carrier.
Anyway, this what do we do here? Anyway, I told you my trailer. Yeah, we go. Yeah, our mission, if you will, is to inform and entertain you. We try to focus on local events, news here in Texoma, but we also talk about regional and state and national news as well. Whatever's in the headlines of the day, of course, comes up. We have a lot of interesting guests. We got a few coming up, in fact. So we encourage you to watch this, and we want you to share this on all your social media platforms. We want to hear from you. We want to get your feedback. So, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you know about it there. But, we're also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so forth. So we want you to share all that. And go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, comment there, and also check out our website, which is Texoma.com.
Yep. GetItRightTexoma.com. And then that will be
www.
Yeah. You don't have to.
That's crazy. So, but if you go to that website, GetItRightTexoma.com, you will see basically some links to sign up. You can listen to the podcast on that page, but you can also find the links to a lot of the major platforms for the podcast.
Right.
And then, but I don't think I have the link for the YouTube channel yet. That's coming.
Yeah. It's a whole other idea.
Just go search the same thing on
Follow X.
So there you go. Yeah. Please share it. Let our friends know, or your friends know.
And by the way, our podcast is being brought to you by Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles, 401 North Scott, downtown Wichita Falls. Since 1966, EddieHillsFunCycles.com. MacTech Solutions at 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B, Wichita Falls, MacTech-Solutions.com. And everyone's favorite sweet spot, Lollie and Pop's Sweet Shop. LPSweet.com is the website. You can also find us on Facebook, Lollie and Pop's Sweet Shop. Easy to find.
By the way, the pies, not only are they fabulous, they'll last for a few days. I got a pie. I got a pie and some cookies from Mike last week, and then I went out of town for a couple of days. And when I got back, my wife had eaten a couple of slices of it, but she left a couple of pieces, and they were good for several days and not soggy or anything like that.
If you liked it, it was all good.
Yeah, it all held up great.
Yeah, how'd she enjoy it?
She liked it. Yeah,
did she?
Good stuff.
All right.
Yep.
We can even please an English woman.
Yeah.
All right.
With sweets. Yeah, they know sweets.
Yes, they do. Anyway, here. Well, let's see what we got coming up. June 28th, 11 to 1. Take It Outside Community Picnic Series.
If you're hearing this.
Oh, yeah, it will be.
Yeah, because this will be June 28th, which is a Thursday. So this will be, Friday. I'm sorry. It'll be Friday it'll be 2 days from now.
Yeah. Just know it's June 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah. from 11 to 1. It's going to be at Park Central. They're going to have live music. Restaurants are going to have food available, of course. A lot of activity. It's a chance to get out, get outdoors, enjoy the warmth and sunshine. There'll be plenty of that, I'm sure.
There is, but there's some shade down there too, because you're right downtown, so you can find you a little piece of shade there.
Well, Park Central it's a cute little park there downtown, kind of adjacent to Big Blue, and
that's right.
It's a nice little place. But again, June 20th, 11 to 1 for that. And then our friends over at Camp Riverbend, they got their camps going on Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to noon, ages 4 to 11. It's $100 to take part in the camps if you're a Riverbend Nature Center member, and if a non-member, it's $110. So you pay a little bit more if you're not a member.
And that's for per child per camp.
Yeah,
but that's for the week.
Yeah.
And by the way, so I talked to Jenica Lambert, who's the executive director, or I texted her and said, "Hey, do you have any openings still, or if your camp's full?" Because they usually fill up pretty quick. And she said they do have a very few openings for July camps. So if you snooze, you lose, baby.
Yeah, you got to get on.
You have a limited number of kids, so get after it.
You got to get on it, kids. Yes, you do. Well, all right here. Let's see here.
Beacon Lighthouse.
Is it Beacon Light? Oh,
yeah, right
yes.
There. Yeah, right
I've
there.
got it. I'm
what you were doing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I got lost for a moment.
You had a Joe Biden moment almost there. I was kind of wondering.
That's it. That's it.
If you're Mitch McConnell, you would have gone like this.
Bartender.
Yeah.
Anyway.
By the way, speaking of Joe Biden, did you guys see him lock up at that June 19th? It was a Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Not June 19th, but Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Deal. And so Kamala Harris is dancing next to him, and some other guy's dancing with him, and everything like that. And by the way, Kamala Harris's husband has zero rhythm. You talk about I'm Mr. Ultra White guy who has no rhythm. He looked crazy. But Joe Biden's standing there like a statue, like he's almost ready to go somewhere, but he doesn't know what he's doing. And he stood there for like 30 seconds that way. It was crazy.
You gotta wonder if is anyone prepared to grab him if he goes to fall?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the man's got dementia. I swear to you, he's got dementia.
But he was in a trance.
But that happens though with dementia patients. Is sometimes people are going to start to question me.
Yeah, exactly.
You just
like when you can't figure out what you next step.
I'm like, where's my place here? You just sort of lose focus on the world around you.
Yeah.
And it's like the brain doesn't know how to re-engage. Like you slip between gears.
You almost need to be rebooted.
And it's like, is anybody there prepared? I can't tell if there's a Secret Service guy behind him. Maybe they got a rope around his waist hidden under his coat. I don't know. But is anybody prepared to grab this old timer if he goes to just face plant right there on the
Everybody's moving and dancing, and he's standing there as stark still as he can
he's smiling.
Yeah, but he's like he's in a trance. He might be passing gas.
Look at his hands. Look at his hands in particular.
That's what I'm saying. He's locked into place.
Yeah.
Who's this? What the heck?
That's a shim. But that's Kamala Harris's husband right next to him. He has zero rhythm. Everybody else has rhythm except for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Yeah, thanks, white guys. You make us all look bad. By the way, I'm a middle-class white guy, but I actually have rhythm. I could hang in here and do well. I wouldn't be Stark, and I wouldn't be like Kamala Harris is going, what do I do here? But anyhow, my point is, it's not funny. This isn't funny.
No,
this is the
not.
president. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Very.
And I'm not. This is a serious question, guys. If this guy was flying an airplane and you were about to get on, would you get on that airplane? No. Seriously, if this guy, not named Joe Biden, you just didn't know who he was, but he walked out there and acted like that weird deal, and he had the captain's pilot up. Hell no, I'm not getting on that airplane.
And then he announces, "I'm your captain."
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, right. I get your sentiment, and he's and as you pointed out, I think he doesn't have his finger on the.
No.
But it's still,
But he's still the figurehead.
Oh yeah.
And so that means he's our figurehead, just like Putin and Xi and all these other world leaders are their figureheads. But you're right. Yeah, that is one of the most dumb things that I've heard people say. When if Donald Trump wins re-election, he's going to have his finger on the button. No, he's not. Just like Joe Biden doesn't have his finger on the news.
No.
That's a stupid misnomer. There's such a chain, and none of us even know what the chain of command is or how many people have to get involved to actually launch a nuclear missile. But it's going to be more than one and more than two. It's going to be a bunch of them.
Right. But there has to be, there's protocol involved in all of that. So, so security protocols. So.
Do we want to jump back to Beacon Lighthouse?
Yeah.
Beacon Lighthouse for the Blind, 50 years. They just celebrated 50 years. Manufacturing tools and lights. And Mr. Clean Pads?
Yeah, apparently they do that as well.
They do that also.
Yeah. And I thought they did paper clips.
Okay, that would be work services.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that would be another operation.
Mr. Clean Pads. I didn't know they did Mr. Clean Pads at Beacon Lighthouse.
Yeah, it's all produced in their factory here in Wichita Falls.
Yeah, right here in town.
And
it's all, and the workers are all either blind or some sort of sight impaired.
Yeah, they have some level of visual impairment.
Yeah. So I just think that's great, and it's here in Wichita Falls. It's been going on for 50 years. So you talk about something. Look, the fact is, if somebody asks you, would you rather lose your hearing or your sight? I'd say hearing all day long. The last thing I'd want to lose is my sight. And especially people that, and I don't have any clue what it would be like. Can you imagine if you've had sight before and you lose your sight, especially if you're a grown-up or something like that, how devastating that would be to your world. And yet now you have there's a place where you could have dignity, you can work, you can still do something. I just think it's great. Beacon Lighthouse, I think, is a beacon. I think it's a great thing in our community. And I think it's great that they're celebrating 50 years.
Yeah. Huge organization for sure.
3M products. They've got,
neat.
Yeah.
It really is. They got some great contracts, obviously. They really do.
That's cool.
Some local news here. JC Penney in the mall closing down. Now, I do have a small update to that, though.
Okay.
Oh.
So there is a rumor afoot that their corporate arm is trying to renegotiate a lease with the mall ownership. Now, the word I'm hearing is that talks are not going well on that. And by the time you see this, they may have already said, no, it's definitely a dead horse. But they made an announcement, what's it been now, about a week, maybe a little less than a week, that JC Penney and the Psych Center Mall here in Wichita Falls will be closing. This is the last original anchor tenant in this mall. By original anchor tenant, obviously, I mean this. When the mall opened in 1974, they were there.
They were there,
along with Dillard's, and I'm not sure who else. Bell's was probably there. Well, everybody else is gone now, and so this is the last original anchor tenant. I have no idea what their rent there is. I'm sure it's tens of thousands of dollars a month.
It's a big facility. They probably have a big nut.
It's a huge footprint.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't been in J.C. Penney in a long time, but somebody told me like 2 or 3 years ago when they went in there, they had displays and stuff that were for sale. Usually that's not good when you're selling off your displays.
Well, they had the last time we were there would have been probably 2 years ago, around Christmas time. We walked in the store. There was virtually no one shopping there. Now we're talking probably within 3 to 5 days of Christmas Day. So it's crunch time for retail.
And this would have been post-COVID. It wasn't 21. It was 22 or
20, probably 22 or 23. Okay. I think it was 22. We walk in. It's a ghost town. There's like 4 other customers in the store that we can tell. There were 2 employees that we could identify, people that we could identify as employees.
Mike walks around with a mouse in his pocket all the time. That's why he says we.
Yeah. Me and my wife, because the only way I'm going there is under duress. I don't go to the mall. I don't shop the mall. There's nothing there for me. Look at me. Do I look like I shop in the mall? They had large areas of the store cordoned off, like black plastic or something. Just whole sections where you could tell they had kind of moved everything in.
Which was visually stunning, I'm sure.
And it was like, what? And of course you think, well, maybe they're remodeling or what.
Like my daddy used to say, boy, that looks like shit with straws
behind the curtain. Did you look?
Was it Powerful Oz back there?
I did look behind the curtain. But one of the things I also noticed that evening, it's we're in there, it's probably 6 o'clock in the evening, so they're still several hours away from closing. And probably a third of the lights were completely shut off.
And if in December, that means it's dark 30 outside by then.
And I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Well, we did leave there with a couple of items, but
Did you pay for them though?
We did.
Oh, okay. So I just want to clarify that.
Even though we probably could have, bolted with them and who would chase us, But anyway, but except I don't run.
Yeah, I've already been on that.
Okay. Don't worry about it. We pay for items, we leave. Hadn't been back since. But people that I've talked to that have been in there recently said it's been really sad. Yeah. You walk in, you can't find any. There's nobody working there. You can't find any help, and it just feels so empty. So it doesn't surprise me they're closing, y'all.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't shock me one bit that we're losing this in this mall. Number one, because I think what you're dealing with here is a huge national retailer that has not done a good job of super serving their clientele in the face of really stiff competition online.
Sure, yep.
And let's be real. If you're in the retail business, you're no longer just competing, and you haven't been for a long, long time. You're not just competing against the people in your town and your community and your city. You're competing against every retailer in the world, because anybody can get online, and we've been able to do this for how many decades now? Anybody can get online and go shop and find whatever it is you're selling. So you have to figure out, how do I, as a retailer, especially if you're a clothing retailer, shoes, anything like that, how do you super serve your clientele?
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. For years, I thought, because in the motorcycle business, of course, a lot of things we carry are hard parts, maintenance parts.
Yeah.
But for years, we do still carry a very big selection of helmets and a pretty good selection of gloves. But at one time, we carried boots, chaps, jackets, and all that. We can't afford to carry that stuff anymore because for years I said, the good news is nobody's going to buy a piece of clothing without trying it on. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
Well, because
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because the return policies are so liberal now these days.
They are.
Or you just take them back if you ordered it from Kohl's online.
Well, I'm just talking about whatever it is.
Right.
The return policy is so liberal now.
Yeah.
If you come in, you don't like the way it fits, you just send it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they usually, worst case, you pay a little shipping, but.
I don't know.
Some cases they do, but sometimes they don't.
Yeah. So anyhow,
my wife had to do that with a dress recently, and got it. Wasn't what she wanted. Didn't feel like she thought it would. Sent it back. Within like 6 days, we had the money refunded.
Yeah.
And the return shipping was nothing. It was free.
Yeah. Well, and you're paying with a credit card, and so you're really kind of almost never out of pocket because you paid with your credit card. Chances are you'll get your refund back to your credit card before your statement hits. Probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we hate to see it happen, but it was almost inevitable. I hope they can renegotiate something, but I'm not hopeful about it.
Yeah.
Not hopeful about it.
If nothing else, just renegotiate a smaller space in the mall.
Well, remember when Dillard's was talking about closing, and then there seemed to be some sort of a reprieve about to happen, but the management wasn't interested in working with them on the air conditioning issues that they've had for so long.
Yeah, I know.
So I given that, maybe not, but I don't know. Of course, we don't know what the goal of the owners.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It looks like they're doing an entertainment center.
A lot of people have on social media been quick to throw this all on the management for letting this happen. I'm going to tell you something. I had an advertising client that was in that mall years ago. They were dropping $10,000 a month on a space that's probably not a whole lot bigger than the total space that we're in right here, and they left the mall in part because of mall management at that time, which was different ownership, different everything back then. Yeah. That was part of it. And then the other part of it, too, that they ran into was they couldn't hire salespeople.
Well, yeah.
And so we had at that point in time, we were like 2.8% unemployment here.
Raised low. Yeah.
Well, nobody to hire. So Hunter Biden's legal team, this is almost funny, using the Second Amendment as a defense in his trial.
Yeah.
So Hunter Biden was just convicted. Was it 3 counts?
I think that's right,
three charges in this this illegal gun transaction thing.
He lied on the form.
He did. The federal firearms form that every single one of us is required to fill out if we go to buy a gun from a licensed dealer. We're all required to fill out the same paperwork, go through the same electronic background check, and all this kind of stuff. Well, I guess he lied about his history as a substance abuse.
But here's something that I do find interesting. We can kind of hoo-ha about this, but I included what the Second Amendment says. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, unless it's
it doesn't say unless anything.
It says, but no, I'm saying he thinks unless it's him. You can infringe unless it's him.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's why I thought this was funny. Yeah. But to be honest with you, does he have a point? Does his defense team have a point? The Second Amendment is is crystal clear.
Totally.
It doesn't say except if you're an addict, except for if you've done this, except for if you sleep with your dead brother's wife or whatever. It doesn't say all that. It says shall not be infringed. So we've all kind of accepted this law, but by the same token, that's not what the Constitution says.
You're absolutely right.
So do they have a point?
Right. I think they do have a point. The laws, the regulations that we have in place in our country on gun ownership and possession of a firearm or whatever, all of that has been created secondarily outside of the scope of the Constitution. Yeah. And most of it at the state level, although there are federal.
And this was a federal.
And there are federal rules. Well, let's take, here's a real good one, a good federal example. It's not legal for one of us in this room to go out here and purchase a fully automatic firearm.
That's correct.
You have to have a special license issued at the federal level that allows you that gives you the permission to possess one. And then I think there are limits on how many you can have and how they're stored and all that.
But I think the argument on that is there were no such things when the Constitution was written.
Exactly.
There was no such thing as automatic weapons.
Exactly.
There were certain things. But there were people that were addicted to drugs and alcohol and stuff when the Constitution was written. Look, I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm simply saying I do think it's funny, ironically funny, that a president and a whole Democrat Party who's ultra-liberal, anti-Second Amendment, and yet
have been very vocal about it.
The president's son is using the Second Amendment.
That is funny.
That's a hell of a good picture of her. Yeah. It really is. They're using the Second Amendment to try to shield Hunter Biden. But
agree.
But to be fair, they may have a point.
Yeah. I'm with you. Now the thing is though that this is an appeal. They expect him to use it on the appeal, right? And but what's I think funnier is the nation's top gun control groups are awkwardly avoiding talking about Hunter Biden's gun conviction. Now this is from Politico. Now is Politico left or right?
Left leaning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they're reporting on it. Anyway. In the day since President Joe Biden's son was found guilty of owning a gun while being a drug user and lying about his drug use on a purchase form, Politico asks 7 top gun control groups how they are navigating the verdict and likely appeal. Several advocates were asked directly if they believe, as the president's son argues, that it is unconstitutional to ban drug users from possessing guns. And says not a single one commented on the case.
But I think where they might be able to get him is, what is the charge? You lied on a federal form.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the lie was.
Right.
I mean, yes, the lie could have been going back to the Second Amendment, and maybe that form you feel like that form was a violation of your Second Amendment.
Right.
But you still filled it out.
Yeah.
Right.
So at that point, when you filled that thing out, did you accept the responsibility of that? If you said, I'm not filling it out because that's a violation of my Second Amendment, then there's no charge there. So I don't know if there's a leg to stand on simply because the crime is not you were a drug user or you were a drug addict. The crime was you lied on a form, a federal form.
Well, and it's important to point out too, if Hunter Biden had chosen not to fill out the form, if he had chosen not to buy the firearm from a license from an FFL dealer, let's say he had walked next door and bought a pistol from his neighbor, which, those kinds of private transactions don't require that form.
Right.
He still would have been committing a crime because of his drug use. He was in Delaware, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming.
I think in Delaware. I may be wrong on this, but I think in Delaware, if you are under the influence or have been under the influence of certain substances and you possess a firearm, you're breaking the law then, even if you don't have a drug conviction.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know all the laws down to that. But I do think, ironically, number one, I thought it was ironic that he's the son of the president, the leader of the Democrat Party who has been attacking the Second Amendment for years, and now we're going to shield ourselves. Number one. Number two, do they have a point? Yeah, I think I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm simply saying it doesn't say in the Constitution drug use, yada, yada, yada. Right, it said shall not be infringed, period. And that's a period after that. But number three, the crime was not were you a drug user and not did you possess a firearm. The crime was you lied on a federal form. So if you lied on a federal form of any kind, you're committing a crime. So
you got to ask yourself this also. By using this defense, are they making it now very difficult for them going into a campaign to bring up any gun control as a campaign measure or as a campaign element?
Well, yes, and if this thing passes and everything, what about all the people that are sitting in federal prison right now because they lied on this form?
The precedent that is set.
The precedent said, let's reopen those cases.
Yeah.
So we'll see. This is interesting.
It is.
On many different levels. It's very interesting on many different levels.
It is.
And by the way, I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's ticky-tack. I'm sorry. I'm not a Hunter Biden fan. Hunter Biden has done a lot of things that are really bad that I think that he needs to be convicted of. I think this is a ticky-tack thing, just like I think the Trump thing was ticky-tack.
Well, and I think also this helps to distract. This helps to draw attention away from some of the other things that have been done that might even be more of a criminal nature.
Well, here's my thing, guys. If you have to be intellectually honest. If you thought Trump's thing was crazy that he was actually had charges on them, I think you need to feel the same way about this. Hunter Biden didn't kill anybody. No. He didn't hurt anybody. It was a victimless crime, just like Trump's thing. It was basically the same thing. Somebody filled out a form wrong. That's what Trump was convicted for. Yeah. And I'm not a fan of either one of them. Yeah. So
Kevin Fowler is going to be performing at the Warehouse.
Who? Kevin Fowler? Who's that? Yeah, pretty big name.
Somewhat famous, you know.
Okay.
The Warehouse here in Wichita Falls.
Who is he? He's a country music.
Oh, that's probably why.
And he's good. He's a big name.
That's probably why I don't know him.
Yeah, Terry is purely into gangster rap. Period. That's all he does. Nothing else. Gangster rap and death metal.
Ice Cube, Ice Tea, Vanilla, anything that starts with has an ice in it, he's into it, right?
Yeah, sure.
And death metal. He looks like a cowboy from hell, doesn't he?
Oh gosh! Friday, July the 26th. 8 o'clock, and this is going to, I guess it's going to benefit the Wichita Falls Area Community Foundation's Volunteer Fire Department Fund. This is to their benefit. We got 24 counties in the area, and their volunteer fire departments they're all benefiting in some way or another from this. Yeah. So you've got and most fire departments around the country are volunteer fire departments. Yes, very few are paid, taxpayer funded,
professional
salaried firefighters. So this is huge, and especially in this part of the world where we have so many volunteer fire departments.
Yeah, a lot of small communities.
And they all have some level of volunteer fire protection, and all of those guys, I mean, when we say volunteer, it's purely volunteer. They're volunteering their time. They're buying their own gear. They're buying their own diesel. There's
a lot of volunteers. Yeah, volunteers are real volunteer.
Yeah, there's a lot of money that goes into it.
Even a town, Burke Burnett, which if you're familiar with Burke Burnett, is what, 10,000 people?
About 11. They're
still a partially volunteer fire department.
Yes, they are.
They do have some professional firefighters, but they also have volunteers as well.
Yes, they do.
So I mean, and that's an 11,000 people town.
Yeah,
and they can't support a full professional fire service.
No, not at all. So that's kind of again Friday, July the 26th at the Warehouse here in Wichita Falls.
Now we got the video.
Okay, so
see if we can cue this up.
All right.
Now this. Let's see here.
Who wants to set this up? Because I'm going to start laughing.
So there's a guy.
This is hilarious.
And you got to watch the whole video. So there's a guy. Apparently, this is I believe it's in Minnesota, and you can zoom into court.
Right. There.
So there's a guy who's zooming into court. So what you'll see is three boxes. You'll see the judge. He's a very serious looking gentleman who's got the flags behind him. You could tell he's a judge. You'll see the lady who I believe she's the public defender, and then you'll see the gentleman who's in the car, and that is the person who's zooming in, and he's the one with the charges against him. So
Okay,
all
so
right.
I'll.
Hey,
All right.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually.
This is a driving while license suspended,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and he was just driving, and he didn't have a license.
look at the defendant's
So
face.
defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is turning himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today.
Ann Arbor District Judge.
That is,
Cedric
yeah. So
Simpson
that is
stunned by
the
act.
epitome. That's the epimite of dumb. That is the epitome of dumb. You are zooming into court on charges for driving with a suspended license while you are driving.
You're driving.
And you're showing proof. I think you would be better off calling and saying, I missed my appointment. I missed my court thing. Sorry, I got held up, and I'll call you some other time.
And missing a doctor's appointment is, in this case, it'd probably be easier to deal with.
If this guy had just gotten out of the car
and gone into,
or sat down on the curb
Yeah.
and done the Zoom call.
Yeah, call in and say, hey, sorry, I'm in a bad, my cell phone's not working or something. As soon as I'll be sitting down, he could have saved himself. I don't know how much time he spent in jail, if he spent a night in jail or what.
Did he not think that?
But you can tell, you can look at this face. You got to watch the video, folks.
Yeah.
If you're listening to us on, if you're listening to us on audio only,
Right.
go back and search this video, dumb driver in Minnesota or something, zooming into court.
Yeah.
But the look on this guy's face, or Michigan, it's not Minnesota.
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah. The look on this guy's face when he realizes what he's just done, and the judge is on to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. You're in a car.
Yeah, this guy is not a Rhodes Scholar.
Oh.
Can we? I mean, yeah, you already know what the crime is. You know why you're zooming into court, and yet you're driving a car.
You know,
And it's so funny, the public defender, this is cut a little bit. The actual whole video is about 4 minutes long.
Right.
And the public defender standing there going, and she was asking for them to time served or drop the charges or something, and the judge is like, are you fucking kidding me?
He's driving.
Yeah, he said it nicely, but the judge is
driving.
and the judge looks at it and looks down and looks over and looks down and looks over and looks at her. It's almost like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Are you all punking me on?
You know, and you can tell that judge, that look on his face. I mean, this
he
guy,
was not amused.
This guy, he's as serious as a heart attack.
Oh yeah, this cat is. Yeah, he's a serious guy.
And he's not buying any of the crap. You know, there's no, at this point there's absolutely nothing that this guy could say that's going to get him out of this.
No.
You're in a hole that you cannot possibly pry yourself out of.
If he was Jesus, he would have been convicted.
Very likely. Oh
Anyhow,
my gosh!
I wanted to share that. If you hadn't seen it,
hilarious.
It's hilarious. And if you're just listening on audio, just go search it out. The whole thing, like I said, is about 4 minutes. And I know it wouldn't make sense for our little thing here. It's too long because there's a lot of dead area. But seek out the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because the look on the judge's face is priceless, and the look on the defendant's face is priceless as reality starts to set in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he goes from, "Yeah, Judge, I'm pulling in it." And you just watch his eyes get bigger and his face start to droop, and the public defender's over there trying to keep a straight face on this thing.
He has that look on his face, the driver does, like his laxative just kicked in at the most inopportune moment.
And he's on the middle of the freeway.
He's like,
gotta go right now.
At this point, you can't squeeze tight enough.
Yeah, oh well.
I mean,
anyhow,
it just
seek it out.
Wow, it's hilarious.
But the look on the judge's face when he realizes what it is priceless.
Yeah,
that
right there.
That video right there. Yeah. And that's the part where it's kicked in fully.
Yeah, that's full.
Well,
all right.
I'm done here. This is one of those videos that will never not be funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ever. All right, we're out of time. Guys, thank you very much for joining us for Get It Right Texoma. We appreciate it very much. Again, be sure to check out our Facebook page. Don't do it while you're driving, especially if your license is suspended.
Especially if you're in J. Cedric Simpson's court either.
Yeah, he's definitely wise to it.
Yeah, he's on to you. But be sure to check out our Facebook page, like it, share it, comment, give us your feedback. Again, also share this on all your social media platforms. We need your help to spread the word about the program, to spread the word about the show. So that's very important to us. So we appreciate everyone doing that. Again, it's brought to you by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles at 401 North Scott, downtown Wichita Falls, EddieHillsFunCycles.com, MacTech Solutions, 4020 Ray Roads, Suite 3B, MacTech-Solutions.com, and Lollie and Pop Sweet Shop, LPSweet.com, and on Facebook at Lollie and Pop Sweet Shop. That's how you find us there. So, guys, take care. Have a great rest of your day, week, weekend, whatever it is, whenever you're watching this. Enjoy whatever's going on around you, okay? And we'll see you next time down the road. Take care.